Hey everybody! What's up, what's up, what's up? Ashley here, clearly representing Multifaceted by Design because we are, in fact, multifaceted by design. I hope you all had a great week, great Friday. Tap into the comments just to kind of see how you're doing. Let me know how you're doing. Tell me. We're like literally in for a great surprise today. Um, it's gonna be me talking again throughout this 30 days. Gonna really just share who I am, share what multifaceted by design will be, and then also engage with some other people that are on this journey with me. I initially posted saying I went to the mandate. Why do I always MMA? I always forget this. Marketplace Mandate Academy, MMA, Marketplace Mandate Academy. Went to their conference in Duluth, Georgia with my mom, and then they really were just about instilling godly practices in your business and also being out there in the marketplace, in the public, reaching people. If you don't know me, and even if you do, I'm a very grassroots, bottom up, be with the people and use the people to excel kind of girly. So everything connects, everything aligns, and it was just at a time in my life where I needed to be more consistent, put more energy back into myself, and remind myself of, you know, how I want to grow and how I want to make sure I'm ethical and pleasing God throughout the process. Not that I didn't already want to do that, but it's always good to kind of strengthen that. So we're going to have a guest today. His name is Kai. Awesome. He's going to talk about kind of who he is, and we're going to just go over how we met and just really talk about that journey. But yeah, we're going to ease that in, and I'm going to look for him, invite him. Yeah, let's just kind of recap the day. Um, Work today. So again, being multifaceted, there's not just one thing I do. There's not just kind of one aspect of who I am. I kind of shed some light on the ways you can be multifaceted and how I am. But literally, um, my 9 to 5 job is as a nonprofit partnership coordinator with a nonprofit here in Columbus. It's called BESA. We literally promote civic engagement, and also if you hear some sounds, I'm playing some music in the heat, but promote civic engagement throughout Central Ohio and really trying to do the good and be the good with people. My role, nonprofits, connecting with nonprofits to partner with them and see what their needs are, and then find volunteers to help their vision and mission come to life through the help of the community and trying to grow that and be more intentional in the process. So I'm doing that throughout the week. And outside of that, really kind of just rooted in community groups and things that give back and grow our capacity and all those sorts of things that really make you a multifaceted person. And also, in my opinion, you know, involve those godly practices like I was mentioning. So our guest is about to come in here sometime soon. Um, hey, thanks for joining. Hi.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Awesome. I was just filling up the time with some introductory statements and just like, hey guys, y'all know me, but here's some more. But
Yeah.
really, I was just saying this first week is just getting our feet wet and diving into this. So let me be quiet. Who are you? How are you? All that stuff.
So for the ones that don't know me, my name is Kai. Um, I am a recent graduate from Georgetown University. I got my master's recently, so I do
Yeah.
marketing. Thank you. So I do marketing. And how do we meet?
How did we meet?
So our stories is kind of different on how we met and how we ended up in the same place, but I was part of a program called Marketplace Mandate with Darius Daniels, and it was about like a program for about 4 months. And I wanted to join that program typically because I wanted to, invest in myself, figure out how to utilize my spiritual gifts, utilize my ministry gifts in the marketplace. I thought it was very foreign to me hearing something like that. But once I was able to join that program, it kind of opened my eyes and get a better understanding of how I'll be able to mesh that together with my marketing and working in entertainment. So at the end of that, they ended up having a conference, which was in Atlanta. Um, Great experience, and I didn't see you the whole time, majority of the time, until I turned around. And I heard your voice, and I looked. I said, "Hey, you got a group?" But yeah, that's
Literally,
kind of
and
how
you're not
it all
blessed.
happened. But yeah.
No, yeah, that's what's up. I was kind of just also saying, went to the conference, inspired the constant posting and trying to be more intentional. And I always am like a community girly, so it's not really foreign to me to want to instill godly practices or be in the community. I really resonate with the whole marketplace aspect because I always thought, even growing up, like if you really want to reach people and connect with people, you got to really be out in the community and like meeting them where they're at. So it was just great to be reminded of that. But again, I saw him at the conference in front of me, and I didn't want to be annoying because I came with my mom, and I was like, okay, I'm learning, I'm soaking it up, but I don't want to just unnecessarily start conversation. If it happens, it happens. But that was like the last day, and it was before church because church was that Sunday, I believe. But that last day of the conference, it was like, let's just have an accountability partner. We were going to check in with somebody to make sure we're posting and to make sure we're doing what we said we're going to do. So this is how this connection came to be. And it's so cool because again, design research and marketing have a lot of similarities, but we're going to kind of get into that later on. But again, so I want to talk about the conference. Obviously, that's our premise today, and kind of our biggest takeaways, or kind of just how we thought it was
Hmm.
and how we kind of are going to apply that to our lives. So I'm going to let you start,
Gotcha.
and then whatever
Conferences.
else you want to do, because you can do that too. Whatever, we going to throw it back
Gotcha.
and forth.
Gotcha. So to me, that was my like first conference when it comes to talking about the marketplace. Um, and I thought that was very interesting. I think the biggest thing for me that my struggle was when we hear about the entertainment industry, when we hear about the music industry, sports, all those different things, we always hear about the dark side of that.
Mm-hmm.
We always kind of automatically assume like we can't coincide in that type of area, or we can't mingle in that area. And that was kind of my struggle when I tried to strengthen my relationship with God, take it extreme, like way more serious, because I care about my soul at the end of the
Right,
day. So I was kind of like, how the heck am I going to do what I really want to do without compromising my beliefs?
right,
And being able to go to that conference, it opened my eyes to see different entrepreneur people in the podcast space, people you had trainers. Um, I mean, even when Pastor Darius Daniels was talking about his mentor is typically Myron Golden, and I watch Myron Golden all the time. Seeing him too, it kind of opened my eyes. Like, hey, I could be in that area and in that space, but also be in a way of I'm not really compromising my beliefs. I think that was my biggest thing was I've never been the type that want to compromise what I truly believe just to be fit into an area.
right.
But I knew that I was in school for 6 years, getting my undergrad and my master's, 6 years, and I said I spent all this time in school, and I was like, did I really just waste this?
Did I
And
waste?
that was kind of my thought. But then I realized you know what, I could do this. So overall, I mean, that conference was great. I definitely met a lot of great people. And it gave me motivation. It kind of pushed me even more to even work harder, get back on my stuff, study more, be more proactive proactive and productive. I think the biggest thing was for me too was in my head, I felt like I was doing a good job until I started hearing a lot of the stuff that they were doing. And I said, I could do
Yeah.
better. I could do a lot better than what I was doing because as I was younger, I was ahead of the curve.
Not that you're not.
Compared to a lot of people. But I look, but I look, and I'm like, I could be a lot further. That shouldn't make me complacent.
Yeah.
Just because I'm ahead of the curve, I could get even further ahead. And I think my biggest goal is I want to create a certain type of wealth and leave something for my children's children at the end of the day. So that's the biggest thing for me. That's the whole reason why I joined the conference. And yeah, I mean, investing in myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No, yeah, that's for sure. And I was gonna say the comment of like sometimes it's like, oh, if you see somebody and they're really excelling at something or doing good, it's like you don't always want to compare. And clearly, if you compare too much, you're not gonna appreciate what you have. But it's also something you can always be inspired. You can always look at somebody and like, I think you should always be critical and reflective. Like you should always be like, I'm doing this, they're doing this. I kind of give this experience, they give this experience. What can I learn from them, or kind of how can we collaborate in general, like conversation, or even go further to something like this and trying to put two different people together and really learn from the another person. So I just think that's beautiful, and like seeing different people from social media or just all kinds of hierarchies in society, or like some people who quote unquote made it to a certain degree, or like people striving to get there. I like being in spaces where that doesn't really matter as much,
Mm-hmm.
and I like when the treatment is like not the same, because if you know somebody and I'm close to you, I'm like, hey girl, what's up? Okay, clearly I'm not gonna be like that if I don't know you like that. But it's a thing of how are we really again seeing the humanity in people, and how are we making sure, even if we're trying to make money, even if we're trying to advance ourselves or do whatever, we're just treating people with the respect that everybody deserves. Um, so again, back to like the marketplace aspect, or learning how to not compromise your values. You were saying in the midst of success, I second that. I would hate to get all the riches of the world and then get to the end and have no substance. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I've encountered that. Like I've encountered other people who they'll do anything to get that accolade, or they'll do anything to feel like they made it. And it's just like, y'all, like that's not how we're supposed to do it. Or like, I have a guilty conscience. I can't sit there and do wrong by people and still feel whole. So I'm actually very happy that like I went there and I learned those principles and ideals, and it was reiterated. And we're seeing people who the podcast people. I forgot what their name was. Do you know the two men? Do you recall what their name
Oh
was?
my gosh.
I know that was random.
Oh my gosh. What is there?
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in the caption whenever I'm gonna look
Yeah.
up the notes and like those are the people. But they went from secular to more spiritual kind of concepts of their podcast, and just realized like they wanted to go deeper. So I don't know. Clearly, we've had conversations before, me and you, about like your take on just how you view life and where you're at with your spiritual journey, and where I'm
Hmm.
at, and how we kind of are poised for different
Yeah.
things. But I'm all for like not blending the lines too much. You have to have a stance, but I'm a marketplace girly for sure. Like I'm meant to be in the public, and I have a higher tolerance for certain things, or I can have certain conversations and feel like somebody might not have that tolerance. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Let's speak on that. What are some instances or perspectives from you that like talk about how you're engaging with your business, or how you're engaging with people, knowing that a lot of people have different perspectives of where they're at spiritually, or like how they view different things?
Um, I think the biggest thing when I think about stuff like that is I think it's it's really more of, about your convictions, what you're really more convicted about.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, I don't drink, I don't smoke, um, I'm abstinent. I don't listen to
Period.
secular.
Hey,
I don't
let's
listen
clap
to
it up.
secular
Let's clap
music.
it up for celebration.
Yeah, like I don't like I just don't do this stuff, right? So it's kind of like, for example, I think of I don't know, they just like for example, just even when I think about marketing, it's kind of hard for me to even want to like pick up a client, for example, that's promoting weed. I can't do it. It just doesn't line up with the stuff that I agree with and my lifestyle. So it's kind of like it's already compromising and enabling something that I just don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question for a lot of people is when I think about drinking in that aspect, is drinking the sin? No. For drunkenness, yes. But is drinking a sin? No. But do I want to market alcohol? No. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I view it a lot of times. I think it's really and really I mean prayer. Like a lot of this stuff I have to pray about before I even think about working with someone, or even applying for like certain jobs. There's certain jobs I just typically would avoid. Like I don't sports bet anymore at all. Like that's just not me. I don't sports bet anymore. But I wouldn't personally work for like a DraftKings, a FanDuel. Me personally, simply based off, I felt like that was a conviction that I just didn't need to do it anymore. But me taking a check from them, it's kind of like I sit back and I'm like, can I really do this? And I told myself no. I had to pray about it. And I was like, I can't do it. So I think it's really all based off of your convictions, but then also
Yeah.
um hopping in prayer. about that type of stuff. Um, when I think about that, obviously the Holy Spirit will flow right through you and give you the answer that you need in any situation and any circumstance that you enter. But it's I mean you literally just go to God first and not allow my everything else in the world kind of affect or be the deciding factor of what the heck I'm about to do. So that's kind of how I view it.
No, that makes sense. And again, that speaks to too, like, you have to know yourself and know what your convictions are, know like who you want to be first to even have that. Because sometimes people are just out here doing whatever because it's like, I gotta make money, the economy's so crazy, I gotta do it, I gotta hustle and all that stuff. And like part of that is true. We do have to make money and do things, but just posing the thought to everybody. Take the time to really cultivate who you are in that foundation. Like, and if you are kind of unshaky about that, nobody's gonna prioritize that but you. And I know life has shown me like they gonna do everything to take your capacity from you if you are kind of too uncertain or you're too out here not knowing. So
Come on
I know for me,
now.
like in my early life, you want to say something real quick?
Oh no, no, I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you.
No, I'm just saying, like, so my journey to getting to design research now has been clearly high school, young girl, figure it out, but interior design, urban affairs, and then design research. But again, there was some uncertainty about kind of like the true purpose I had in it and like kind of how I wanted to use that to make a true impact. So even I myself, like I always have an eye for design aesthetics or organization or how things are put together, but that can't be more important than again how I'm serving people. And so even then, like I cared about people and how interior spaces care about people and communicate our stories and can create those small moments. But it really was more superficial and more based on the surface level things. And like I really struggled, and I'm not dumb. Like I don't know, I struggle with some stuff and I'm like, I swear I'm smart, I'm organized. Like I'm learning in hindsight, like when I'm struggling too much with something and it's really not clicking and it's too much confusion, clearly it's God kind of trying to tell me that that might not be it, or like I might be on a similar path, but like there's some core thing missing. And that's why I can't get that peace. That's why I can't get that contentment. Or like I have to, there might be more for me. And I'm trying to get like a, not an easy way out because I'm still trying to work for it, but trying
Mhm.
to work hard for the wrong things. And it's like, girl, you got to work hard, but you're making yourself work too hard for something that clearly is not all that God has for you or all that you could be the best at. So that's one thing in hindsight, but that's been very clear to me. Like all the
Mhm.
moments where it's like, wow, I was kind of really depressed. I'm like, no, I have been depressed before, but I think I was really depressed because I was fighting the feeling in me to do something different, and I was trying to make it work on my own, and I really wasn't being led or praying or sitting and really asking, and maybe praying for like, oh God, I need some money, or like help me pay this, or do something minuscule, but like not God guide me and be the foundation. So it's very interesting. All
Yeah,
the
nah.
introspection that we need to really succeed.
Nah, I definitely agree. And that just brought up a thought in my head was something that they said at the conference that had me just like I sat there and I was like, wow, that's me. And it was when they were pretty much saying that the enemy will pretty much bring so many thoughts in your head, but it could be great
Listen,
ideas, but so many thoughts in your head, but you just trying to do everything all at once, and then at the end of the day, you just do nothing. And I feel
yeah,
like I have so many great ideas, but I think my biggest issue was I would try to tackle so many things at once, and then it hurts my consistency, right? It
hmm
hurts what I'm doing and the vision that I had. I get tired, I get frustrated. I'm like, I'm trying to do it. Like, what is going on? Why can't I figure this out? Why am I not doing this? And then I sat back, and after they said it, I was like, I really am just doing too many things all at once, and I'm not able to put my full effort into a certain thing specifically because I'm doing too much, right? So my energies are just all over the place. And I thought that was really good when they brought that up. And it came full circle. Um, so it really helped me understand. Um, honestly, I'm gonna be real. This kind of and
keep
that
it
was
real.
more of an answer for me. When I stopped posting for almost 3 months. God gave me
Okay,
a nudge, was like, you need to chill. And I was like, I don't know why. I wanted to post. I wanted to do certain things. I
I
wanted
agree.
because I was trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, why? Then I heard that too. The conference kind of made it all come together and gave me a better understanding. Like, okay, because I needed to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah,
Start trying to do too many things all at once. Focus on one thing at a time. Build something out. Um, at that moment, have the foundation set up, and then once that foundation is there, then you can hop to the next thing. Once that foundation is set, it's set.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to create so many foundations all at once
bless you.
that I forget, like, hey, I didn't finish this part of this foundation, I didn't finish this part, and I'm thinking it's done, and then something hits it, and then it's done. The foundation is completely broken. Now I got to restart, and that's
Yeah,
tiring. A lot of times when you put so much effort and time into something, but then it falls apart. A lot of people just like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not about
I'm
to do
done.
this.
Like
On to the
clearly,
next
it's
thing.
not for me.
hmm So that right there came full circle. It all made sense, and I'm grateful. That's all I can say. I'm like really grateful that that happened. But I mean, it just made sense, and I encourage a lot of people with that too. Is focus on one thing at a time. And the biggest thing I think about is when in the Bible it was talking about the foundation on the rock in the sand, the house built on the rock in the sand. Like
Hmm.
it's literally like that. That's the biggest thing that I think about is the house on the rock in the sand. Like you think it's set and you think it's sturdy until something hits and you're like, wait, did I forget something? Like this made no sense. So
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing that I think about, and that's equivalent to you trying to put your hand in so many pots all at once, and you know you don't have the capacity to do it. I didn't have the capacity, so
yeah,
I picked. Now I get a better understanding and a better sense of what I could put my hand into at a certain moment. I may be able to put my hand into two things, but I was trying to put my hand into like five, six different things. I'm like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and I was like, I can't do it.
because you can doesn't mean you
hmm
should. That's a
It was
lesson for
pride.
everyone. Yeah,
It was pride. I had to sit down. I was like, I was being prideful. I was like, I felt like Superman.
yeah,
That was my biggest issue. I felt like Superman until everything came crumbling down, and I said, dang, I can't do this. But that's
yeah.
real though.
That is real. And it's funny because, like, I don't know. Sometimes also we're so quickly to identify pride or different issues in other people. And again, you have to know yourself and be reflective. But pride be killing it. And it's like for me, even with the hierarchy thing, like, yeah, okay, you're high up, you've done this, you live quote unquote holy, and this is how you live your life. But all my neighbors just you might hear them. But you're how you treat people and how you're judging people and all these things are not rooted in how we're supposed to treat people and how we're supposed to be trying to improve or make things better. So I'm like, all of it is just very interesting and telling about again the heart posture and like who you are and like how the foundation not only is in what you're doing outside, but the foundation of who you are inside. Okay, so I was gonna say too, clearly design and like the foundation of a structure or the foundation of a plan, like that ties into kind of how I think about things. And it's really so important because it's like how I want to even get people to develop and think about designing their life and design in um, I don't know, just all the systems in society that we engage with is again the foundational aspects of what it's built upon, the root causes, the things at the bottom that either make the house or the foundation structure sturdy, make the fruits, the things that are coming from the seeds planted come to fruition. Like it just matters so much what you're the care that you're giving to that first level and the intention that you're trying to put in one location versus like you're saying all these different things. So I don't know how I'm really going to try to explain some stuff as I'm developing stuff for my consulting practice in general or just all these things to come or that are building is like how can we get people to think about their own self and development from the foundation to the structures to the finishes and the things and like designing a house, designing a thing, designing you, and just really translating that and then getting people to again be like, not only can I be a better cultivator of my own life, but I might be able to make more of an impact in space, or I might be able to move through life differently if I can view it in the same aspect or because again, for example, you don't want a house built so quickly. You don't want a building or a community that's so quick that if something happens, it really isn't deeply rooted, so it washes away, or it's not gonna be as long lasting. And like shout out to the old architecture and stuff. Houses today are not made the same. Stuff is not made the same. Like some old stuff, it's lasting and it's staying because of the
hmm
intention and the methodology put into it. Versus now, cities are growing so fast. So many things are changing. People are trying to hoard money and not invest, and all these things make the foundations and the structures so not solid, which is just very interesting as well.
That just made me think of something. It's this is I tell everybody this. It's kind of like, and that it gave me a thought. It was like nothing is really built with intention anymore, and I think the biggest issue is because of we're in a microwave society now. We
Yes.
want it now. We're used to just getting everything so fast that nothing is built with intention. Nothing is going to last long because we want that temporary, just like, hey, we need this now. We want it. We like it because it's coming fast. But then we get angry when the thing starts crumbling down quick. Um, and then I think with that too, it's kind of like the foundation, building the foundation is not sexy. That's not a
It's
sexy
not
aspect
sexy
of
and
the
like
house.
that's hard to accept.
It's
That's
not.
hard to accept.
It's not. It's not sexy. And people can't accept it, but people forget that is the most important part.
Yeah.
Like even when you think of it's kind of this is just kind of how I relate it back to it. It's like talking about sin, right? Talking about suffering, talking about certain things is not sexy
Like
in the like talking about that in the Bible, but then we have to talk about those things first and get to those. Yep. Come on now. Talk about those things first for us to get to the point of all right, we get all this extra blessings, this, that, and the third. But we gotta talk about the foundational stuff first before we even get to all the extra abundance that we can get. But we're not talking about the foundation. You're reaching for the abundance, but you don't even know how to keep that, steward that properly because you don't know the foundation. And that's kind of what I think about the reason why a lot of people's I say this too. Businesses fall apart, great ideas fall apart because foundationally they don't have a direction. They don't have a real vision. I talked about this in one of my videos. They want to go on a road trip. They have the great idea, but they have the destination, but they don't know the direction. It's kind of like you going on a road trip, you have the destination, but you don't utilize maps. So you're just trying to get to the destination without utilizing a
I
tool
think I
that you have
remember
at
where
your
it
disposal.
was, but not with.
You get what I'm saying? And I also brought this up too. It's kind of like you're accustomed to a route. There's times when you don't have to utilize a tool, and you're so accustomed to a route that you always typically just go that route. You like, I know what I'm doing. But what if they have road work on that day and they close the road? Do you know where you're going? Do you know how to get there? And that's kind of I think that's a big issue for a lot of people that they're not utilizing a tool that they have in front of them. You have a tool. God is your tool. Like it's right, he's right there. Like he wants you to talk to him. Talk to him, listen to him. But I think we do, and a lot of times I think we do too much talking. We won't sit down and listen. Why not? Why
That's the
not
word.
listen? We
That's
do more
the
talking.
word. Because again,
We have one mouth and two ears for a reason. Listen.
yeah,
You're saying why is this not coming? Why do I not get my answer? The answer's right there, but you're just not sitting down trying to listen and try to hear what the answer is. Mhm.
yeah. And I was gonna say too, listening takes that. You gotta put your pride aside. You gotta be honest. You gotta again know who you are if you're really gonna listen. And I think Keisha Shante commented, "So what's the first step of building with intention or having a solid foundation?" I would say clearly there's different answers to that, but it can also be being honest with yourself. I'm gonna always say that. Be honest with yourself. Like nothing's gonna sound truthful or seem like it's a thing if you don't even know yourself. You don't know where you fall short. You don't know what you excel in. You don't know what you like. You don't know who you are. So clearly, we both believe in God, and we both believe that gives you a foundation for your life, and that is a guiding force, practice, whatever. Not practice, but you have certain practices like praying and just trying to align yourself with God's will. That's a foundation. But again, we live in a sinful world. We live in a world that is actively trying to like
Exactly.
ruin the foundation and give us all these thoughts and have us. My biggest thing is rumination sometimes. Like I'll be over something and something happens and I keep, because I overthink, which can be an asset. Noticing things, scanning the environment, processing can be good. But when you're focusing on the things that you're not supposed to be focused on, things that you've been forgotten, something re-triggers it, or you don't have that foundation, the same things that can be used for good are now turned to the things that are destroying you because you're not using it with the intention it's supposed to be used for. So, yeah, I would just say I'm gonna let you comment on that too. But knowing yourself, being honest with yourself, and aligning with God is the higher power that is gonna set that foundation or help you at least come back down to that is my way. But what's something that you gotta say about that?
I agree with what you were saying. And when I think about the first step of building with intention, I think the first step is you have to know who you are. Like if you
Period.
don't know who you are, um, it's gonna be hard for you to figure out what your purpose is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to figure out what you're good at, what you're bad at, what you need to put your hand in, what you don't need to put your hand in, right? So I can't be intentional with something if I don't even know what I'm good at or what I'm bad at, right? I knew that I was aware that a lot of people come to me for advice on, for example, a lot of people come to me for advice on just anything. They love just telling me about their whole life story without even me trying. And but then the biggest thing was a lot of people always used to tell me that I always give them good advice and I always try to encourage them. I always try to encourage them, I always try to lift their mood up, right? And when I thought about that, I said, all right, this is a gift. This is obviously a gift that I'm pretty good at, right? And I don't understand why so many, I didn't understand at first why so many people migrated to me for that specific reason.
Right.
So I said, what specific field could I still do the same thing that will make me smile, that I could still help people understand? Because I like helping people understand their true value.
Yeah.
Marketing is a aspect of helping people understand their true value because you're promoting yourself, you're promoting your idea, you're promoting that. A lot of people undersell themselves. A lot of people don't truly know, like, hey, you're much more greater than you truly think. But I can help you showcase that to the world, and that's what I could
Right.
do through marketing. So I knew that was a gift that I had, but then I also knew I had a good sense of who I am, right? There's no
Right.
way possible that I could do half the stuff that I'm doing and what I do without going to God first anyways to learn more about myself. I had to because honestly a couple years ago I think my biggest issue was I was extremely prideful. I was
Yeah.
extremely independent. I
I'm
would
glad
do
you
everything on my own.
admit it.
Yeah. I mean, thank God I finally got to that point. I couldn't admit it before, but I was
Me too.
extremely prideful. Like I was like, whew, head case. I was just like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. But I was always helpful. I was always generous. I'll be like, I'll help them out. I'll help them out. I'll help them out. This that, and the third. Um, but in the same time, I was like, why I am generous, but at the same time, a lot of times I was like, I don't need anybody else to help me because I can do this all on my own. I got it out the mud. I got it out the dirt myself. I don't need this. Until you
Did
get to the
God
point of you get
end up
broken
doing
down to
it?
the point. I'm telling you, you get broken down to the point you're like, you start looking around, you like, how did I get here? It's like one of those movies like, how did I get here? I was like, I was thugging it out, I was doing everything. But I had to get broken down to the point of and realize like, hey, where was I flawed at? Where was I flawed at? Where was I and where was my strength? I knew I had a good sense of my strength, but then I was revealed what got revealed to me was a little more strengths that I didn't know I had. But I had to realize and I had to set the weaknesses that I had and I had to figure out how I could be able to tackle those and improve in those areas. And
Yeah.
I mean that's the best way how I was able to build with intention and try to like, create business, create work with certain clients, different things of that nature. That's the best way I was able to do it. Simply based off of going to God about it, asking like bring out anything that is not of you out of my heart because I care
Seriously.
about my soul. I care about my soul. Like, come on now. But that's what I believe. I know that was a lot.
No, it was cool. I'm trying to even think where I want to segue from that, but I don't know. Just again about the pride, like definitely, just really encouraging y'all to like when you're honest with yourself, you can just it's really good to get at a good place with your pride and your ego because then you can just realize that we're not supposed to have it all together. Like, and again, being multifaceted is having different aspects from my standpoint of what makes you who you are. But a part of that is recognizing that, like you were saying, in the community, like you didn't want to tap into that, but it's like we're not supposed to be here with the people who are all knowing. Like that's we're trying to be God and we're trying to do that. And it's like Jesus was the only human that had the capacity to be all those things, and he still chose a human experience so he could reach more people. So it's like, y'all, let's literally be like, I do this well and so does this well and so does this well. How can we all help each other? Or even if like we have very similar things, we have different experiences, we have different vantage points and perspectives that can make something more full or make something more thought about. But if your ego and your pride is in the way, it's always competition. It's always, did they say that with this intention? Well, did you talk to them? You're not even talking to people. You're not even trying to even hold space, but you want somebody to hold space for you. You're not even checking your biases and your triggers, but you think everybody else is going to first know them, but then check them. It's really humbling to live by this, just to live this out. Like you said, it's not sexy. But again, like in my opinion, the sexiness is developed in the process, because once you keep cultivating it, and if you don't like the sexiness, you can use a different word. I like sexy, but whatever that looks like for you, it's cultivated in the process. And again, I'm a process over product girly, because again, I don't want to create anything. I don't want to create any spaces, any designs, any services if I'm not thinking about intentional processes, if I'm not honoring the people and how I'm getting there. So I think that also ties back into like making sure God shines through what I'm doing. Like, I just want to do things like show God's love through intentional design and policy work and all these things. So I know that's my root for it, but
Hmm.
I'm going to use other people to help me influence how I get there and influence how that fully personifies. So yeah.
No, I agree. I agree, and I think we all have to come to a point of stepping up to the plate and just say, "I'm not good at this,"
Yeah.
and admit the things that you struggle
Yeah.
with. Right? I struggled with a lot of the different things. I still struggle with things, and I have to come to God and have a moment and be like, "I'm not good at
Yeah.
this. I don't know why I'm not. This ain't processing to me. I don't know why I'm struggling with this, but I need your help."
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people kind of like try to suppress it and be like, nah, 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 I'm good, I'm good. Nah, you have to, for you to actually be able to see change, you have to admit that there's a problem. And if you can't admit the problem,
What are you
what
trying
is going to change? And I think that's my biggest thing. Like I had to admit, like there was a problem in certain aspects, and I need your help. Um, and I think even when I was a couple years ago, it was hard for me to say someone was better than me at something. I'm gonna be honest. It was hard for me to say someone is better than me at something, and because jealousy would kind of pop in, I wouldn't ask for help. I wouldn't ask for help because I was like, nah, they can't be better than me. I'm just gonna grind to figure out like how I'm gonna get better. But then I'm wasting energy trying to do
to?
something that it don't matter. If they're better than me, I want to use your gift too. Come on over. We can do
Yeah.
this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm building something that's much more stronger instead of me trying to do it all on my back. Like, and I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. We were talking about like I had to get to the point of working smarter, not harder. But just because I'm working smarter doesn't mean I'm not working hard at the same time. I'm just
Yeah.
prioritizing my working smarter versus the working harder, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I had to think about. Um, and I ask for help whenever I need the help. Now, like it just gets to a point. It just became a habit. Like I don't care. Like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me.
Please
I
help
asked
me.
my friend earlier, help me learn how to use this app. I know you use it all the time. I'm not the best at it. Help me. And
I mean,
eventually you're
even
gonna get to a point where you don't need too much, I don't need too much guidance on this, but I may need a little sprinkle here and there, but I'm good.
I'm
But
a
you
salt
good.
bait with help. I'm just kidding. I just anyway, but like no, literally, it's good to again just. I was gonna say sometimes when you allow somebody to help you, usually what's missing in them sometimes or like lacking in them, it's like an
Hmm.
exchange. So it's like sometimes they're helping you, but then maybe it's a mindset, maybe it's comments, maybe it's anything that somebody can take away from that as well. So I'm big on reciprocity. Healing Ashley is no longer here for anything that just takes like, are you a child? And usually if you're raising a child right, they're gonna say thank you, they're gonna do something to help in their capacity. I'm not taking nothing with no reciprocity. So it's like I need everybody. I want dogs and animals to be nice. So if I'm expected for some animals, I need some humans who are grown to have some capacity to reciprocate what they need or just give something to the spaces they're in. All that to say, it's
I
very
have a thought
important.
on that though.
Okay, so say it.
I think it's a fine line for that.
Which
Right?
part?
I think it's a fine line for that. And I think
Reciprocity?
I think it's a
Okay,
fine line because I mean, there's gonna be a lot of times you may have to do something for someone and they can't do nothing back for you, right? I don't think everything could be so transactional. I think it gets to the point we always expect like stuff has to be transactional. If I give you something, you gotta give me something back. So like for example, like I have people that ask me for bread sometimes because they need help with something.
oh,
I
you
can't
mean
if I
money?
keep automatically just assuming like I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna hold a grudge over them for. I have to do it out of the like the kindness of my heart. If it comes back, it comes back, right? And I mean, that's that. Now I wouldn't say, for example, like if you have a business and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm giving you my time, I should be well compensated. But like I feel like there's a fine line, but there's gonna be I feel like there's certain aspects in certain circumstances where you will like encounter where like it's not gonna be as transactional. You may not get back what you want like monetarily. You may not even get a thank you. But you have to be okay with that at times.
Yeah.
And I feel better. I feel better a lot of times, like knowing, like, hey, I may have helped someone out. They may not have cared, but it made me feel good. I felt better, and I felt convicted. Like, hey, I should do this. And even though I didn't get the response that I wanted, like it is what it is. I just gotta be okay with it.
Yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying. And like, for example, I volunteer a lot. I'm trying to advocate for people who have a voice that's not listened to or overlooked. I know and I'm very aware that sometimes you're not really going to get that. You're going to have to make an investment that you're not going to see a full return on. You're going to have to show up sometimes and know that you're maybe more evolved or capable than somebody there in a way and be okay with that. So I totally am acknowledging that. I'm just mainly talking about people and things who they have the capacity and they're not.
I got
So
you.
I'm like friendships, things that should very well kind of whatever. And clearly, if you ask for
Hmm.
money, I also say, listen, if you say you're gonna pay me back, because my mindset is if I borrow something from somebody, I give it back. And so I know people have told me you should just release that. But in my opinion, like if you're my friend and you need something from me, and so I help you out, and we have an agreement that you're going to give it back, I'll trust you enough to keep your word because I would keep my word. So then the next step of maturity is, okay, everybody's not built like you. Sometimes people just can't do it. And then you got to know who to help out sometimes and when you're just not going to get it back. So I know there's different steps to it, but I also
I
know
think it comes with a conversation, though. I think it comes with a I tell a lot of my friends too this,
it does.
like
It
I
does.
tell them all the time, like, if
It
you're not gonna
does.
give it back and you're not capable,
Say
it's
it.
okay. Just let me know.
That's my
But if you say you're gonna give it back to me, I'm gonna hold you to it.
So that's what I'm
But
saying.
now,
Because my experiences have been, well, I know where all perspectives are different, but my experiences have been like, we've had a conversation. You said you was gonna do it. Now you're not doing it, and I'm supposed to be okay with it. You, my friend, you keep not showing up. You're my family, you keep not showing up. I've communicated. It's not changing. This is a pattern. So I more so was coming from that vantage point.
hmm
And my thing is because I'm such a community servant, in my personal life, I'm holding a standard higher because I'm already out here doing stuff that I know is just God's work. That's God's work in my personal relationships. Like I'm growing Ashley to better have my capacity honored. If you my friend, you my partner, if you're anything to that capacity and we have more in this, I need you to have a better, I need you to hold me closely and hold me more dearly. So I understand what you're saying. So I have like a multifaceted opinion on that.
I'm on that
I don't use
multifaceted.
that word all the time. Okay, sorry. You continue.
Nah, but no, I definitely agree with that aspect. And I think I'm not gonna lie. I I got humbled about that. Um,
Life will do that.
and I'm sitting down and I said, why am I holding this grudge? Like I did have a friend that said they would give something back to me, right?
Don't play
But
with his money, y'all, basically.
and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm in a way, like I'm calculating the cost in my head. Like I said, you just hit me up. Where the money at?
Oh, you
I
you
said,
got
you just spent
you
this? I said, where the money at? And I'm just sitting there, I'm laughing. But then I was like, yo, I was like, God, I said, my heart ain't in the right place. I said, what is going on? Like, yo, why am I getting like pressed over this? And I had to get to the point of I just had to be okay with it. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I could take note of it. Like, hey, like they may have just not been in the best place, and I mean, it may affect the trust that we have, like, with a friend and different things of that nature. That may affect the trust. I totally get that, and I think that is important. I mean, I truly believe that's important because I think one of my biggest things is being. I want like people that's in my life, I want them to be a man and woman of their word.
yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I care about.
Exactly.
And I stand 10 toes on that. But I say this all the time that like God really told me like I have to be okay with certain things. Like this ain't even yours anyway. I said, and I sat there, I'm like, dang. So you ain't lying. This ain't even mine. Like all the bread I get, different things that it ain't mine. That's his, and I got blessed with it, but it ain't mine. That's a gift that you gave. You gave me a gift, and I'm able to make compensation off of it. This
Yeah.
is yours at the end of the day, so I had to be okay with like, you know what? I'll take the loss right now. I know I'm gonna get it back anyways. I don't care enough. And then a lot of times, randomly, I'll get a check in the mail. I'm like, where did this come from? And I'm like, oh, this is the amount I gave. I'm like, I'm good. And
Yeah.
I had to get to that
I
point
love
of stop overthinking that stuff because eventually it may come back. It may come back in different ways though. It may not come back in the monetary gain that you thinking. But again, I experienced peace, felt some joy, something. I heard good news. That's better than me to me than getting that monetary gain, monetary stuff back. So I got humbled and I was just like I have to be okay with it. Like it is what it is. It's not
it.
mine at the end of the day. It's yours. So that's life.
I'm still being worked on in that area because, like I said, I'm healing and it's working. But
Mhm.
again, my thing is boundaries though. So God gives us the ability to set boundaries to move accordingly.
Yeah.
Because I definitely, I'm owed many of things, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's just genuine care. But again, you can't get caught up in that space. If you get too caught up in all the things like that, it clouds you being in the present. It clouds your energy, and I'm a very big energy. My energy, when it's messed up, it's messed up. But when it's
Mhm.
strong and when it's good, it's great. And I know that's truly my purpose here. So to use that for something good. So I'm still healing with that because people gonna play all day. But
That's
again,
real.
accountability. Am I playing with myself? Am I allowing them to play with me? And so I'm not gonna victimize situations that I can alchemize. I'm gonna always
Mhm.
flip it around and say, okay, they did that,
Yeah.
but again, is it a pattern? Is that who they are? Okay, so why are you still here? Or was it an honest mistake? Okay, so can they change? Okay, so I'm always into the reflecting and like moving people accordingly and moving myself accordingly. I'm thankful
Absolutely.
God gave me the personality to be able to be alone and to do my things and like move accordingly. And I don't need like I need love and stuff, my family, but like I'm okay with my own and like I'm okay with that. And that helps me go through stuff as well. So yeah. You gotta
It
go.
was it was
Sorry.
great being on there. Nah, you
You
good.
gotta go.
You good.
You gotta go.
Next
Yeah.
time we gonna be on longer, but I
You
have
are.
to go see my cousin. She about to perform.
Yeah.
So last thing I gotta say to y'all before I dip off. Y'all have a great day. Y'all stay blessed and y'all be
Yes. It
intentional.
was great talking to you.
Yep,
Be
great
safe.
talking to you
We'll
too.
talk next week, y'all. We gonna going live again next week, and we thank y'all for being here. Stay tuned into us. Follow us, all that stuff. So yay!
Talk to y'all.
Bye, y'all.